welcome into the program. I'm Rob Sanders, running a little behind today, but want to do a quick little show here for you guys today. Little Monday night picks. Got a Monday afternoon picks for baseball. Yeah, buddy. We'll get into those, and we'll talk about some other things too. So there's that. Shout out to everybody over here. Robert says good morning. I don't think it's morning time, but hey, good luck with all that. All right, I'm gonna put the link over here if you guys want to join the show. You guys are more than welcome to check us out as we talk a little sports here this afternoon. What was I going to say today? Oh, I was watching Jackpot's live stream a couple weeks ago, and someone's like, I only watch it for Jackpot, which is kind of funny to me. Like, everybody loves Jackpot, and I'm just kind of the bastard child here, and I'm fine with that. I have no problem being the bastard child. It works. Shout out to Jay, Robert, and Daniel for checking in. A couple of picks this afternoon. Yeah. So let's go. Let's see here. What do I have here? As we roll along today, let me make sure that I'm going to give you the right lines on everything. I like today in baseball. You got two games today if you want to bet. Not that, you're supposed to bet, but hey, if you're going to bet. 4 o'clock today, the Mets will be playing the Dodgers. That game's on FS1. Look, the Mets are a fluke, in my opinion. And I think the Dodgers are going to run roughshod over them. I'm going to take the Dodgers to win there. I'm also taking the Yankees tonight at 7:30. That game's on True TV. I don't like, what the hell are we talking about here? We're like, remember, like, was it Casey Anthony's trials on there? And now we've got baseball. Oh, God. Also tonight, 8:15, the Buffalo Bills will play the New York Jets. Now, here's the crazy thing with that. There's like some metric out there that when there's a new coach, there's like a 15% better chance that that the team that has the new coach is going to win. I'm not buying that. I'm taking the Bills tonight, and one of the main reasons why is that the Jets are at home and they don't play well at home at night. I think they're like, their night games there, they're like 1-15 or something at night since they moved into that stadium. It's some ridiculously stupid number, but little roll there on the Buffalo Bills, and Josh Allen's a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers is right now. So I'm taking the Bills. So there's my picks today. You got the Dodgers, the Yankees, and the Bills. So the favorites today, take those. Some other news to get out there. You've got Graham Mertz, the quarterback for the Florida Gators. Some sad news for this guy. He has a torn ACL. He was celebrating and tore his ACL. That ends his college career. So, yeah, DJ Lagway will now get the start for the Florida Gators the rest of the season. Mertz took to Twitter to saying, "Unfortunately, I suffered a torn ACL against Tennessee and will miss the remainder of the season. During my recovery, I'll remain a part of the program and do whatever I can in meeting rooms and from the sideline to help my teammates win. I want to thank everyone for the outpouring of support during this time." So Mertz is out for the Florida Gators. Just putting that out there. If you guys, some people care about that, some people don't. It's just sad when it comes down to it. Also, Cleveland Browns have Coach Kevin Stefanski said today that he put his support behind DeShaun Watson as the team's starting quarterback. I know we don't talk a lot of NFL here, but DeShaun Watson is going to kind of someone that, I mean, I think I've interviewed DeShaun 2-3 times, something like that. Watson has all the physical tools, but his brain's not in the right place. Since he decided to do some nasty ass shit on Instagram and get sued by every woman in the city of Houston, his brain hasn't been right. Someone needs to shake DeShaun Watson and just tell him, look, just play football, stupid. Don't worry about the horse. Don't worry about all the stuff on the. Just go out there and throw the football, because that's what you're good at. Your reputation's already soiled. You know what I'm saying? You can't fix that. What you can fix is the ability to start a new legacy here and finish out the rest of your career. You're going to have more money than God. So there's that. He's making a shit ton of money. And we've all seen what DeShaun Watson can do, even at the pro level. So it's kind of interesting to me to see that, he's still getting the Browns. They have to play him. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they can bench him. They bench him, they're fucked. I mean, they have to pay that contract anyway. You might as well keep throwing him out there. So there's that. Look who the Browns have run through at quarterback, though. Remember they had a Johnny Manziel. Then they had Baker Mayfield, who ended up turning out to be pretty good, right? And then they got DeShaun Watson. And everybody thought DeShaun Watson was going to be their savior. Yeah, not so much. Not so much, sir. Kind of a mess. Anyway, Biscuit is correct. Watson is awful. Watson is awful. You're right. Someone said I shaved off my eyebrows. No, I just have blonde eyebrows, dude. I can't help that. Wasn't my... I'm Anglo. That's what I was told. I'm an Anglo with my blonde eyebrows. Anyway, Jerome says the Browns are the pro Gamecocks. That might be fair. Anyway, if you guys want to join the program, there's the number there. I gave you my picks today. What I got: the Dodgers, the Yankees, and the Bills tonight. So take the favorites tonight and cash that check, ladies and gentlemen. Cash that check. Then come back here and tell everybody, hey, I got my picks from the rundown. So, yeah. Anyway, so there's that. What else did we have today? Oh, I was thinking about, we've been talking about the college football playoff a good bit. And it's funny that this weekend is almost kind of a knockout weekend. Unless Georgia gets the win over Texas, it is a knockout weekend. And some people may think I'm silly on that, but I don't think so. I think that when you step back and look at it, you've got the Georgia Bulldogs there. Let me send this message here really quick. The Georgia Bulldogs there, they could give Texas that one loss, right? So if they do that, then theoretically Georgia and Texas would still be in the mix, okay? Now, you've also got Alabama and Tennessee playing this weekend. The crazy thing about that game is that if Alabama wins, I think that eliminates Tennessee completely. I know some Tennessee fans are like, oh, blah, 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 blah. Let's just slow down a little bit here. All right. If that happens and Alabama wins, Tennessee's out. Now, if Tennessee wins, Alabama's out. So it's kind of a knockout weekend unless you're the Texas Longhorns. I look at Texas though, and people thought the what was it, the fans from Oklahoma were running those dick suckers a little bit over the weekend. Oh, we can beat them. Yeah, how'd that work out for you, Okies? Not so much. Not so good. Anyway, so Biscuit says 10-2 gets you in. We can talk about that, but when I look at, there are some other teams that are out there too. Missouri could finish 11-1. The rest of their schedule, well, not necessarily. They've got Alabama too. So they've got Auburn. They go through the Alabama stretch there. They got Auburn at home, Alabama on the road. Auburn's terrible, by the way. Followed by Oklahoma, South Carolina, Mississippi State, and Arkansas. All right. So let's just say they lose at Alabama. That puts them at 10-2. Do you think that 10-2 team gets in? I mean, just being 10-2 may not get you in. So the loser of this weekend's game between Alabama and Tennessee is going to have 2 losses. Alabama still has left to play, of course, Auburn. They've got Mizzou, LSU, who only has 1 loss, Mercer, Oklahoma, and then, of course, the Iron Bowl. So, yeah, but personally, I think that Alabama is going to be the team that drops off. They just look like they don't give a shit. It's just kind of the way I look at it. Tennessee, by the way, their schedule remaining, they have to play Georgia. So, I think that they may end up splitting those two. We'll see. And the game at Vanderbilt, does anybody really want to play Vanderbilt right now with their quarterback? I don't know. Y'all seen Jackpot cringe last night when I said that they have a better chance of beating Oklahoma than they do Vanderbilt? Yeah, he didn't want anything to do that. Jerome says 10-2 this year in the SEC should get you into the playoff. I think not. Because I think there's a scenario where you could have people aren't thinking about Texas A&M. Texas A&M, they are 5-1 right now. Here's their remaining schedule. They're at Mississippi State. They've got LSU, which that's a knockout game. South Carolina, New Mexico State, at Auburn, and Texas. So just with that, LSU or Texas A&M are going to both have 2 losses at least because they play each other. So Biscuit says there were 0 10-2 teams not in the top 12 the past 3 years minimum. I'm just telling you, you've got a situation where you're going to have a bunch of teams here that are 10-2 in the SEC, and it's not going to work for you. You can't have the SEC Invitational. That's not the way the playoff format is set up. Now, it could get interesting this weekend if Texas wins. That puts 2 losses on Georgia, right? Yeah. So Georgia will have 2 losses. And then we can go from there. Jackpot says, hell no, everyone's scared to death of Vanderbilt, trembling. I know you've won 17 straight against them, Jackpot, but I'm just saying they're playing pretty good football right now. Jerome with a good point. There's going to be some 9-3, 8-4s. Well, who out of that mix is going to go 9-3? Are we talking about Texas? You think they're going 9-3? You think Mizzou's going 9-3? You think A&M's going 9-3? LSU's going 9-3? I don't know. We'll see. I think there's going to be a pissed off fan base that may finish 10-2, and they're going to be left on the outside looking in. That pissed off fan base may be the Missouri Tigers if they lose to Alabama and win out. That puts them at what, 10-2? And I think that their strength of schedule is kind of going to screw them a little bit because their out of conference schedule was hot dog water. So Mad T Sipper with a good point there. Georgia's allowed 65 more points than Texas. That's interesting too in its own right. I'm just saying there's going to be a lot of even if you're in this mentality that, well, the SEC should get all of the at-large spots, which is not going to happen. I hate to break that to you. It's not going to happen. They're going to give at least one to the Big Ten, maybe two. The Big 12 is going to kill themselves. That's kind of the way that looks. The ACC could have two teams. I know you guys don't want to hear that because you've got to suck that SEC tit so hard. An 8-4 SEC team should go over an 11-1 ACC team. I know that's how a lot of people think. But I think that committee, if they have Miami at 11-1, or excuse me, 12-1, their only loss is to Clemson in the ACC championship game. I think both of those teams will get in. They'll leave your 10-2 team out over those two. It's just my opinion. I know that, a lot of people won't like it. And in Alabama, trailer parks will burn to the ground. Missouri meth labs will burst into the sky. I just don't think that's how it's going to work. I do think that everybody is playing for second, though. What I mean by that is that I think Texas is better than everybody else. Now, Georgia, could they beat them this weekend? Yep, they could. Just from what I've seen right now, though, Texas looks better than everybody else. I don't see anybody beating Texas. So that's the fun part, though, is we get to watch these games and see how it comes out. So there you go with that. Anyway, I put the link over here if you guys want to join us. First year in the SEC bummer. Matt Teeper Sipper says he's more scared of Arkansas than Georgia. Oof. Arkansas could be a spoiler too, man. They could keep Mizzou out of the playoffs. They really could. Rob has an SEC bias. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how you doing today?
Hey, what's up?
I think South Carolina is going to be the one to keep Mizzou out of the playoffs personally, but that's just one of the games I got us winning.
They've got Mizzou has South Carolina and Auburn, in addition to Alabama, and they've got Arkansas at the end of the season there. You tell me after what happened with them last year, was it last year? Yeah, that Arkansas wouldn't like to just put up their,
Well, I get that, but that would require Mizzou to win out and get to that game, which I don't think is going to happen.
I'm just saying there are several. Look, I know Gamecock fans are all over the top with, hey, we had a great game at Alabama and we should win the rest of our SEC games. I get that. I'm just saying currently there are more than one spoiler spots there for Mizzou.
So, yeah, I agree with that. That's why I'm saying I don't think they'll make it to Arkansas for that to be a spoiler. I mean,
because Arkansas is the last game of the season. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, that's really the only reason. Maybe if that game falls a little earlier, but I think that's why I think Carolina is probably in the best spot to kind of end their hopes. I don't think we're probably their next hardest SEC game, right? Don't they play Bama after us?
Hold on, please.
I think that game's like early November.
Yeah, Missouri is on the 16th of November, so basically a month from today. Basically,
that's after the Vandy game for South Carolina.
Yes, you go Oklahoma at home on the road. You have a bye week, and then you play A&M at home, followed by Vanderbilt on the road, and then Mizzou at home, Wofford at home, and then you go to Clemson to get your shit pushed in last game of the season.
I mean, well, there's an argument that this A&M team might be the hardest game on our schedule at this point with the level of improvement they've seen.
I think LSU's better than they are.
No, I'm talking about
talking about games left?
Yeah, games left. Yeah.
Oh. I don't know, man.
It's either
Elko's a hell of a coach.
I'm telling you, I wasn't as big on him as I probably should have been. He came in and, immediate impact. You know what I mean? Could you imagine what he'd do with
He
all those
outcoached Dabo
Jimbos?
Sweeney the first game of the season last year.
What'd you say?
He completely outcoached Dabo Sweeney first game of the season last year, with just the way that he brought in transfers and the way that he called that game. I mean, was just
Yeah,
he handed Dabo Sweeney his ass. So.
He's scary, and just think about what he could have done with those recruiting classes Jimbo had, man. That team probably wouldn't have lost a game all year. But another thing I want to talk about, O'Donnell Fortune, I think he played he had an excellent bounce back game. Did you notice that?
Yeah, he played better. He didn't get cooked as much as he did in the game against Ole Piss, but Tim Frisbee was telling me that a lot of that may have been they were running a lot more zone than man on man stuff.
That lurk he had, that was NFL quality. Not saying he's an NFL player, but that play was NFL quality.
Let me address Jackpot over here. Jackpot is upset because I said that Clemson's going to push their shit in again. I'm sorry. I have zero faith in your offense there. Okay. He says Shane Beamer outcoached Dabo 2 Novembers ago. No, he didn't. Clemson turned the ball over, and Dabo Sweeney made the flower power decision to run that stupid play on special teams. Shane Beamer couldn't outcoach a wet paper bag. Shane Beamer is a crying bitch. Yeah. Shane Beamer's a crying bitch that kicks Gatorade coolers. Don't come at me with this nonsense. No one wants to hear that bullshit. That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
Beamer. Listen, Beamer has put together the best defensive line in the country. The best defensive line in the country.
Good for him. You think they're the best defensive line in the country. Okay.
You don't? What pull the sack numbers? They just had, 4 versus Bama?
I don't think you're the best defensive line in the country. I'm sure there are other defensive lines that are better than South Carolina.
I don't know. Production doesn't lie, though, Rob. Let's just be honest. At some point, you have to tilt the cap. Like Ashton Genty, you could say, I'm sure there's better running backs, but production don't lie. I mean, hold up. Kyle Kennard himself has 6 sacks. I'm trying to pull up the team. It's pulling up individual for some reason. Give me 1 sec. You might be better.
I'm pulling them up right now. Yeah, so I'm looking at it right now. Sack leaders, teams. Current team stats. Okay, this is from the NCAA. Team sacks. Let's see here. Boise State leads the country in sacks with 29. That is 10 better than South Carolina.
What do you think happens if Boise State goes to the playoffs, though? Just to sidetrack a little bit. Do you think that team can perform? I don't know. I mean, their numbers would suggest that they're.
I think whatever group of 5 team is going to be like, they're going to have the 12 seed, right? So they'll play the 5 seed. Whoever that 5 seed is, I mean, just it's called like you ever play spades where you could play like blind low and stuff like that. I would make a blind bet right now of $100 for whoever that 5 seed is against whoever the 12 seed is. Well, I'll take whatever points that are there. Yeah, I'll make a blind bet right now.
SEC team, wouldn't you say? I'd imagine that 5 seed's probably going to be probably your second best SEC team falls in there at 5. Maybe you got 2 in the top 4.
Maybe like Texas we'll see. And Georgia. I don't know. I don't know about how all that's going to work out, but
yeah, where did South Carolina fall on that list?
They are 10th according to NCAA.com. So
I think
Boise State, San Diego State, Texas State, LSU, Virginia Tech, Ole Miss, Miami, Nebraska, Rice, Indiana, all those teams have more sacks than South Carolina. Yeah, so if we're going just on sacks alone, which you were talking about, the stats are the things that matter. Yeah. Okay, well, South Carolina is 10th in the country.
I understand that, but also look at who we played. You got to compound the stats with who we played. I'd say LSU has by far the best O-line in the country if you're just looking at pure draft prospects. Tore them up.
Well, that's up for debate. I mean, I'm sure they're.
Well, shit, that tackle they got supposed to be a top 5 pick, ain't he?
Let's see here. Well, just because they're supposed to be a top 5 pick doesn't mean that they're going to be, the best ever. So.
It doesn't, but generally you can assess a team by their talent. I think they've got 2
all right,
supposed
so
first rounders.
Like for sacks allowed.
Oh, we're number 1 in sacks allowed.
Well, yeah. No, well, I mean, as far as sacks given up.
You gotta remember, LSU didn't give up any sacks. They gave up 3 versus us. They came into that game with 0 sacks on the year.
No, according to NCAA.com, you've given up 2 sacks. LSU has given up 2 sacks on the season. They both might have been to South Carolina, but
I think
number 1 in the country, Georgia Tech, has given up 1 sack all season. Yep. So there's that.
Damn.
Followed by Army. Army's at
all these days, though?
1. Well, once again,
you
are what the stats say you are. New Mexico's at 1. LSU is at 2. Coastal Carolina's given up 3 sacks. Oklahoma State's also at 3. Ohio State's given up 5. Clemson's given up 6. So
most of those were. How many did y'all get sacked a bunch in that Georgia game?
I don't remember. I have to go back and look at all the stats. I don't remember.
Yeah,
I love all these people over here who want to run their dick suckers about Clemson. None of you motherfuckers would love to be. You motherfuckers would love to be Clemson. You would love to have the national titles that Dabo Swinney has. All of you don't have shit, especially you Gamecock fans. Y'all are fucking amazing to me. Clemson bad. How about this? Get your fucking team right. All right? You're not as good as you think you are. Just because you went to Alabama and played well doesn't mean that you're a good team. I hate to break that to you.
Let's be honest. We're a good team.
Rob,
we're going to give you absolute fucking problems at the end of the year. What are you talking about?
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Yeah, we are. Cade Klubnik's going to have shit stains on his underwear after that game. He's getting hit so much.
Cool.
Yeah, it's going to be just like
Maffa's going to run over you guys just like he's running over everybody else. Yeah, Maffa's a great running back.
He's got soft hands, Rob.
He's a better running back than what you have.
Puts the ball on the dirt.
Damn, doesn't have any fumbles. What the hell is going on there?
Hey,
what is going on there?
That's them upstate hillbillies, man, driving by in their clapped out shitbox truck. That's
Jesus
all that was.
Christ. What's up, Daniel?
I said,
what up, boys?
Hillbillies.
What's up, Daniel?
That's funny.
Well, we fucking found a way. Wasn't pretty. Wasn't pretty, but it was beautiful. Fuck Florida.
Hell no. Well, hey, if you take Chris from Georgia's opinion, it was the best performance you've seen all year long. I mean, Tennessee did no wrong. They went out and dominated. They're actually the best team in the country, believe it or not, too.
We're far from that, but a win is a win is a win, they say.
Well, I get that, but 3 points on offense for both teams in the first half.
Pretty
what a
abysmal.
Shithole. That was terrible to watch. That was just
and
awful to watch.
We gave Florida every chance to score and score and score.
Yeah,
luckily we had
the crazy thing though is that if you
defense.
didn't know it, like Florida kind of dominated the game. It looked like in the first half they were able to move
they did
whatever the hell they wanted to do.
Their defense looked really good.
Hey, can we? I want to say something good about Tennessee. Samson, your running back. It's a shame that he's there because he's a fucking winner. That guy
he's
can
a beast.
play. I mean, he really can play. He runs downhill. He knocks people out. Yeah, it's a shame that he made the decision to go to Tennessee because he could play football.
Well, he is leading the SEC in rushing.
He is.
Oh, really?
Hopefully he doesn't end up like what? Who was it? Was it Kevin Harris that led the SEC in rushing for the Gamecocks and they went to the Who Gives a Shit Bowl? Yeah, that was terrible.
Hey, Kevin Harris is still on the NFL roster. He's still a Patriot, believe it or not.
Hey, man, he's pretty good.
He's a millionaire. I'm sure he'll take his career and play it over 10 times out of 10. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm sure he has no regrets on that.
All right, talking Biscuit. Those have the 4 squares of silly here. Biscuit, what's up?
What's going on? Hey, how many 10-2 teams do you think they're going to be in the SEC? Rob, you're talking about there's going to be 6 or 7 of them.
There's going to be
3 max.
I think there's going to be. It might be 4. It might be 4.
They all play each other.
Yeah.
And so if there's 0 upsets the rest of the season, it's almost impossible to have.
Well, I think Mizzou can finish 10-2, and that may be the one that throws it into a mess. Now nobody believes Mizzou's going to
so you're
finish
assuming
10-2.
lost to Alabama.
Well, who would be?
Yeah.
So then Alabama wouldn't be able to.
They should lose to Alabama, and then they'll be a 10-2 team. And I think with their schedule, the way that it is shaken out, I think it'll come back to kind of bite them. They could be the 10-2 SEC team if there's 4 of them that could be.
If you've watched that team play,
who in that scenario, who would even make the SEC championship? Because everybody would have a tiebreaker. Everybody in that scenario. If Missouri's 10-2,
it's going to happen.
10-2.
Everything we've seen all season, you've seen Vanderbilt beat Alabama. We've seen Tennessee lose to Arkansas. The scenario you're pointing out is as though we're starting the season over again and projecting like AP pollsters. There's no way that there is going to be that many. There's going to be 3 teams that are 10-2 or better, and that's it. That's why you were talking earlier, like this isn't the SEC Invitational. You keep applying rules to it by conference. It's not like that. It's based on your ranking.
I mean, it is based
on your ranking.
Based on your ranking, but you can finish in the top 12 and not make the tournament. That can happen depending on the group of 5 and everything else.
Yeah, because
it would be the 12th. Yeah. It'd be the 12th ranked team that wouldn't make it.
No.
That would pretty much be it, would it not?
That's what I'm saying. Mizzou could finish 10-2 and be 12th, and they may not make it.
Yeah,
that's what
I'm telling you
right
now. If they're 10-2, they're going to be in the top 11.
Okay,
that's probably all.
You and I can agree to disagree. I just think that if there's 4 10-2 SEC teams, which it's feasible that could happen. A&M and Texas play each other.
Do you know who number 11 was last year?
I don't remember. No.
10-3 Arizona.
Yep.
You're telling me 10-2 Missouri wouldn't get in?
Yeah.
I don't think you're looking
at.
Their
schedule isn't the most dominant schedule.
I don't think you're looking. You're not looking at the other conferences, though. Is what I'm trying to say. Do you keep 2 12-1 ACC teams out if it's Clemson and Miami?
So what you're telling me is a 12-1 ACC team is going to be ranked 11th or 12th? No.
I'm just saying
they're going to be in the top 8.
Okay, but if you don't have the ACC title, you've got 4 of those bids are gone. So you got 5 bids that are automatically gone. So everybody else is playing for those 7 spots.
You keep talking about this like it's a pool. It's not. It's where you're ranked.
Right.
Those teams that only have 1 or 2 losses are going to be in the top 10.
Okay.
Including the ACC. You're going to have if it plays out like you're saying, Clemson and Miami both go undefeated until they play each other and one of them loses. If Clemson finishes 11-2, they're probably going to be ranked 8th or 9th in the country.
Well, I think differently. I think differently than you. I think if Clemson drops another game, they're not going to be in the top 12. So I think if they roll out and then they lose to Miami in the ACC championship game, and that puts them at 11-2, I think they're out.
We haven't, like I told you, in 2023, 2022, 2021, we haven't had a power 10-2 team or 11-2 team not in the top 11.
Sure.
So you're going desperately against the odds. If Clemson goes 11-1 and goes to the championship and loses to, like if they lost 40-7 in the championship game, you might have some trouble. But if you lose a game like by a touchdown in the championship game, they're not going to leave 11-2 Clemson out. No way.
There's only 12 spots, man.
Right. And there's only so many 2-loss teams.
Right.
You're not going to have 18 10-2 teams. I mean,
no, but you're my
to be
thinking
fair
is,
to Rob, I could easily see at least 3 SEC teams.
Well, my thinking is that you could have 2 teams from the ACC, and then you could have 2 teams from the Big Ten. That puts you at what, 4? You could have 3 from the Big Ten.
I think you're going to have 3 from the SEC this year. Is probably what you're going to see. The 2 who make the SEC championship, and whoever's in that 3rd place slot is probably going to have a good enough.
The SEC, I think, is going to be like 3, maybe fringe 4. You might see a 4th, but it depends. Yeah. Depends on how things shake out. Depends if the favorites continue to win, or we still have like upsets, like we've had crazy upsets, like we've had already.
Well, did y'all see that schmuck
I'm
Jackson
just hoping,
Darts?
I like chaos, so it would make me happier than anything if there's 4 10-2 SEC teams and only 2 of them get playoff bids. That would make me happy. I like chaos.
I look like I'm in witness protection.
I know, right? Why are you disguising? We have named
Oh,
this
it's a
man.
weird light. I've got really
We
bright
are
windows behind me, and I'm, like,
disguising his
lights off.
voice to protect his identity.
But yeah.
Turn on a light. What the hell's wrong with you, man?
Well, I can. The light sucks. I like using my windows, but they're extremely bright. The sun's right there, so
I
it's
know.
not.
I'm thinking.
Gotcha. But
Yeah.
no,
Well,
but again, I don't think you're gonna have if Clemson finishes the season 11-1 regular season and loses in the championship game, or goes 10-2 in the regular season and wins the ACC. They're not. Well, obviously the ACC champion will get in, but they're not gonna have a problem getting in.
I don't think that there's going to be enough spaces. So you and I can agree to disagree. I mean, and if you're right,
what are
I'll
we
put on
disagreeing?
the program.
Like, what is it you?
I don't think that many 10-2 teams from the SEC will get in. I think you can be a 10-2 SEC team and be left out. That's what I think we disagree on.
I don't think I'm going as far to say that if you're 10-2 in the Power 5, you're not getting left out. There's more of a chance of that, but it hasn't happened in the past 3 years. So the odds of me being correct are pretty on. 10-2, you're usually in the top 10.
So
I think Mizzou could get left out if they lose their best 2 games, because the rest of their schedule's complete garbage. So if they lose their top 2 games on their schedule,
and these rankings are supposed to account for roster skill too. I mean, that's what screwed UCF.
Hold on just a second.
Let's look at who was number 11 the past couple of years. Let's take a look at that.
I'm with you on that, but let me put this out there really quick. All right.
Yep.
In the Big 12, BYU is 6-0.
Okay.
They do not play a ranked team the rest of the way. Okay?
And we say this every year about many teams, and it doesn't work out.
I get that, but I'm just saying I don't think you're taking this into account. You've got 2 teams in the Big 12 right now that are sitting at 6-0. Number 9, Iowa State, and number 13, BYU. If those teams play each other in the Big 12 championship game, and you have a 1-loss team from that conference and then an undefeated champion, under your logic, both of them will go, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
You know who was number 10 in 2022?
Sure. Who?
Utah, 10-4.
Okay.
Florida State, 10-3. USC is 12, 11-3. That's in 2022.
All
2021. Right. And we've consolidated the teams more.
Cool.
Now you have Oregon and Ohio State playing each other. You have Texas and Georgia and Oklahoma. And it's going to be even worse in terms of losses now because we have all those teams consolidated playing each other, right?
Right. And I'm picking up what you're putting down here. I'm just saying I don't think we're looking at all conferences on a spectrum where we could have teams that have that high winning percentage or undefeated or 1-loss teams. I mean, that could happen in the Big 12. It really could.
In 2021, 10-3 Ole Miss was number 11. 10-4 Utah again was 12. The only team that was 13-1 that didn't make the playoffs was the Ragin' Cajuns, and they were ranked 16th. Mm-hmm. Or that wouldn't be in the top 12. So
right.
Houston was 12-2, but they weren't Power 5 at that time.
I'm looking at the Big 10 standings too. You've got what? 1, 2, 3 undefeated teams left, and Ohio State's at 5-1. I'd have to see who all they play. I haven't checked that one out yet.
Indiana will probably lose this week. I think they play at Nebraska. They'll probably lose.
Yeah. Well, either way.
Okay, so I have to admit. So in 2020, in the COVID year, Indiana was number 11, and they were 6-1. So they played 7 games, and they were 6-1. So there you go. But
it was a year.
Iowa State was 8-3, and they were number 10.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll have to see how that shakes out. I think that we're going to have a lot of teams. There's going to be some butthurt folks.
Yeah, somebody's
feelings are going to be hurt a little bit there.
Well, there always is. You even see that in the basketball tournament that has 68 teams in it, and someone goes, "We should have been in there," and it's like, "Well, you couldn't make the top 68." I mean, give me a break. You're on the bubble.
Well, but are we going to have the logic of you didn't finish in the top 12? But I think where they're going to be hurting is like that group of 5 team that gets in is going to get blown out by the 5 seed. And everybody's going to be looking around like, why in the fuck are we doing this?
Why are they here?
Why are they here? It just doesn't matter. So,
yeah, that's when I think it'll take maybe a year or 2, and then it'll lean more towards the talent side, and you'll start seeing some more of the Power 5 schools get more of a nod. I mean, this first year is going to be a bit of a novelty. Well, I think at least it's not really going to be the 12 best teams. They're going to give too much. What is that? They're going to give too much weight towards some of these group of 5 teams, and I think you're going to see some better teams left off, which is going to happen every year, but I think this year especially. I don't know what y'all think about that.
Yeah. I'm not gonna
I mean,
lie.
I would like to think that what you're saying makes sense there, Biscuit. I just think that in the end, I think that someone's gonna have their feelings hurt. We'll see.
Well, I mean, your example is that's fine, but your example is Missouri. What the hell is that?
It's something like Rob has an SEC bias near his dumpster or some shit.
No, that's not me.
Well, somebody's
flushing a toilet or something.
Yeah, it sounds like water.
I don't know. So I don't know. We'll have to see on that front, and then we'll go from there. It's going to be interesting to say the least. And that's what makes college football so great, by the way, is that it can change every year. I mean, it is the most. I mean, it's the best stories in the country. I mean, it really is because you can follow along with all these teams, and there's so many great storylines. Like Army and Navy could end up playing each other and being. Undefeated, and then playing for a playoff berth.
Yeah. They both have to beat Notre Dame.
What they'll
get by Notre Dame.
Yeah, but the point is that we have that right now, though. I mean, it's something that could happen. That's the cool part. So,
and that's what I was saying at that past live stream is it seems like there's a lot more parity, particularly in the SEC, but across the country. Just a lot more parity. You're seeing a lot more teams come up and bite bigger teams in the ass. No game is – I mean, you can't go into any football game this year and just guarantee yourself a win unless maybe you're Texas. They could probably do that with some people, but across the landscape of college football, it just seems every game's up for grabs.
But when you take 4 of the best teams in the country and move them from other conferences into the 2 toughest conferences, you're going to have a lot more parity. I mean – it's really difficult to play top games like that and then come back and play even a rival who's down, who has a high talent level and is very physical, that sort of thing. Like, Tennessee ran across it with Arkansas. That's a tough place to go and play. Arkansas may not turn out to be one of the best teams in the SEC this year, but that's not an easy place to go play sandwiched inside tough games like that. I mean, it's hard. It's really hard.
Have you guys been following like any Texas folks on Twitter? Because they're just basically like, oh, this is the big bad SEC. Not impressed. That's how a lot of them are.
Yeah, you know what's funny about that? Meanwhile, they played Mississippi State and the team they played with in their conference last year.
Look, I'm just saying it's just funny how
did they get Georgia?
Stupid their fan base is. They play Georgia
this week. This week.
That'll be a fucking litmus test right there.
Yep.
What's the line?
If they come out and they, I think they're like a 3.5 point favorite at home or something.
Texas is.
Yep. So
Georgia has problems. Georgia is right now. They're very undisciplined. They're not like they were several years ago, where you wouldn't see them committing stupid penalties during a game and that sort of thing. I've seen multiple times in both Mississippi game, the Auburn game, the Mississippi State game, Auburn, and against Kentucky, where you'll hold them to 3rd and 10. And we'll rush the passer, and he'll throw an incompletion, and we'll grab his face mask and start them over on their drive. We had a drive like that where Miss State scored because we gave them 30 yards in penalties. More on 3rd and 10 and 3rd and 13. We did that both times. We did it the week before. Chaz Chambliss.
You're starting to get that
quarterback twice, 2 weeks in a row, and kept the drive going. I mean, in a situation where it was completely unnecessary. It was like
you're starting to get that's the most champ stink, man. I'm telling you got to get him out of your fucking program. He rots you out from the inside out, and you don't notice it. He
doesn't have as much of an influence this year. Actually, it's funny. Georgia fans are saying the opposite. They're saying because he doesn't have as much of an influence now, that it's affecting us negatively.
I thought he was y'all's defensive coordinator.
No, they moved him to he's like an analyst position now or something. Is that right, Biscuit?
Yes.
Yeah. So
he was last year, and now was it last year? I forgot when they split him. And then
that guy, man, fire him with cause. Don't pay him out. Get him the fuck out of there.
Yeah, they're very
any reason you can. He's a son of a bitch, man.
Y'all should hire Jeremy Pruitt back.
Jeremy Pruitt.
Jesus.
Where did Oh God, what's his name? Where did Derek Dooley end up?
Fucking who cares? Cowboys at one time. The Cowboys at one time. He was a receivers coach.
Yeah, where is he?
I don't know where he's at now.
God, he just disappeared off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
He's kind of like, do you guys remember Dennis Francione for Alabama? Pretty good coach. He was pretty good at A&M and then went to at Alabama, and then he left and went to A&M, and then after that, after failure there, he just disappeared.
Where's Charlie Strong at? Is he still at Texas? A DC at Texas, or he got moved?
I don't know.
I hadn't heard Charlie.
I don't
Strong.
think he's. Wait a minute, he was the head coach at Texas. I doubt he's their damn DC.
Oh, I thought he was a coordinator up there when he got hired.
Hold on, let me look. I'm looking that up right now. Where the hell is Charlie Strong?
Didn't he go to USF? Didn't he go to USF?
That's a coordinator at Miami.
Yeah, there you go. He is.
I didn't know that.
There you go.
Actually,
yeah, that's right.
Wow.
No, wait a minute. It says he left Miami over a DC snub. So in 2023, let's see here.
I'm surprised he hasn't gotten a.
Oh yeah, you're right.
He's
right.
coached,
No, he's a current. It says in 2023 he was a defensive analyst for Alabama. So,
he's in the He was in the rehabilitation program.
Charlie Strong was a good coach, man. He should have had a.
Yeah, I just pulled up his record through 11 years. He's 74-53. I'm surprised somebody hadn't taken another gamble on him yet. Who was that other? Derek Mason. What's Derek Mason up to these days?
He's at MTSU. He's the head coach at MTSU.
That's right. I knew I'd seen him somewhere. Yeah.
I was just thinking about that the other day. Man, I'm worried about this fucking Vandy game. Holy shit. They put some belts.
Jackpot's not worried. He thinks y'all are going to beat the fuck out of them, but we'll see.
Well, I'm more worried I'm going to spend 7-8 hours driving up there and then get roasted by a bunch of fucking nerds on the way out if we lose.
Nerds. I said it on the show last night. I think you have a better chance of beating Oklahoma on the road than you do of beating Vanderbilt.
Well, the thing is, Vanderbilt, it's not really going to be an on-the-road game. Let's be honest. I get their success, but it's not going to be an on-the-road game. It's still going to be at least 50-50 South Carolina Vandy fans. It's essentially neutral site, SEC neutral site.
The issue with playing Vanderbilt is your players have to be so disciplined on their keys when you play them because they're running that weird triple option out of the shotgun. And I've noticed with South Carolina, as good as y'all's edges are, Kennard and Stewart, they get upfield a lot. You can't do that against them. You can't. They will eat you alive. I watch Bama do it over and over and over again, and they little Pavia. That dude's really smart. Like that offense, if you're not, it's almost like preparing for Navy or Army. You've literally got to forget everything you've done all year and practice for that defense. And if you don't,
it's all about just playing your space and
they're going to gas
your space, and that's it. And it's all about being disciplined and hanging out in your spot. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, Alabama played; they didn't have any discipline at all, and that's why Vanderbilt gashed the shit out of them. So.
God, did Kennard have a game on Saturday or what?
Holy shit, man. I'm telling you, this guy. If he ain't a top 10 pick, then the NFL don't know what they're doing. I think he's the best edge rusher by far in the country. I don't know what y'all think. I mean, the dude's an absolute threat every time he's on the field.
He's so disruptive.
I'm going to go ahead and say it. He's made probably just as much impact on the field as Clowney.
I don't know. We have to look at that.
I think that's safe to say. And Clowney had a lot better of a supporting cast.
Well, I mean,
Clowney was on some 11-win teams.
Yeah.
Well, but Clowney, what do you have? I think his best season was 13 sacks, right?
Right. That was his sophomore year, right?
What's he at now? Kennard.
I'm looking it up right now. I don't know.
I just watched the game. I saw him just.
He had fucking 4 last night.
Alabama offensive line.
I think he had 4.
Clowney still has my favorite play in NCAA football history.
Oh, which, by the way, Dylan Stewart about replicated it. I don't know if y'all watched the game.
He killed that running back.
Holy
killed that running back.
Can you imagine if he handed that thing off? That would have been Clowney.
So, Kyle Kennard, the senior, has 17 tackles, 7.5 sacks on the year.
7.5 sacks. I mean, he's on track to top that.
See, Well, that's like James Pierce. The first 3 games of the year, he played 20 snaps a game. Because they really didn't. I guess they wanted to save him for this big stretch. And now the past 2 games, James Pierce he's at edge, mind you. He has 16 and a half tackles at edge in 2 games. And I think he had 2 sacks, and he had a forced fumble against Florida Saturday that killed around the goal line. So he's starting to pick it up now that they're playing him a lot more snaps.
That's another thing with Kennard too. I've noticed is he ain't he's going for the ball. I think he's forced 4 fumbles on sacks this year. So
he has some issues. Didn't he have some issues with penalties too? I think I remember he's been flagged a good bit too. But
he in that LSU game and the Ole Miss game, the whole D line really was falling for hard counts a lot. But that shit you can fix just with maybe a session of gassers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have you guys ever played a video game that was like a Lego video game, or seen your kids play a video game that has Lego characters?
Yeah.
Jadeveon Clowney made that running back look like one of those Legos when they explode. It's 5 pieces. His head flies off, his arms fly off, his body.
Well, and I said, I think although it is it's high praise, I think at this point, Kennard has had just as much, if not, you could say more impact than Clowney. The guy's been out of this world. He's been insane. Every single play, it's ridiculous. The only thing you can give Clowney the edge in run stopping, probably. Clowney was obviously a better run stopper, but
right.
That's just because
Clowney didn't play yesterday for the Panthers. They say that he's hurt, but I think that they're going to they have no use for him. So I think they're going to just sit him down until they could trade him and get some picks for him. He's going to end up going somewhere and wreaking havoc for somebody.
He needs to go to a winning team. I don't know why he came to the Panthers. He's not in the stage.
Well, they gave him more money. It was contract stuff, man. They gave him more money. That's what happened. So,
well, he hit all his bonuses at the Ravens. So
that he's had so many injuries, though. I think it's hard for him to pass a physical with the surgeries that he's had. So that may be part of it. I don't know.
That's fair, but I don't know who's so you're a Georgia fan, right, Biscuit?
Yeah.
What's your prediction for this game versus Texas? What do you think happens? What's the game flow?
You mean all the way through from the first quarter on?
Yeah, just how's the game go for y'all? What do you think?
I think it's a little higher scoring than what everyone thinks. I don't think defenses will. I think there'll be a good bit of passing in this game. I would say, if I were gonna bet, I would say Texas 31, Georgia 27.
Gosh, Texas can't run the treble, man. I refuse to believe it. They're going to shit the bed at least one. And you're the best shot.
But, it's at Texas. That's the problem. That's why I give, I said at the beginning of the year, I said Georgia's going to have a hard time even just making the playoff just because of the schedule. And I'm not trying to whine and complain and excuse my way out of it, but you're playing at Alabama, at Texas. At the beginning of the season, I said I would take a split in those games. Then you add on, you still play Tennessee. We still have Clemson. We still play at Ole Miss. Now Ole Miss is starting to look a little weaker than what we originally thought. But and then you sandwich in all the other games. You don't think Florida is going to come out and try, and play really well in Jacksonville in a couple of weeks? Probably play more physical.
I'll never bet on
Graham Mertz is done for this. Is he done for the season?
He's out.
That probably.
Is Archman still? Is Quinn back?
Quinn is back. He played.
Yeah. How long until everybody quits on? On Napier, it's you know what?
I think losing Mertz is. He was the leader of that team. If you watched any of it, the way the rest of the team was coming up and talking to him, I think he was the glue that kept all that together. So I think after this week, you're going to start to see shit hit the fan in Florida.
He is one of the worst in-game decision makers. I'm not talking X's and O's and stuff like that. I'm not that qualified to make that determination, but in just simple decisions that I've ever seen before in my life. First of all, 4th and 1, they were on the 13-yard line. They needed this much. They needed 6 inches, and he runs wide to the outside to get the first down.
Yeah,
the
that
guy,
was wild.
the running back was stupid too. I mean, he could have had it easily if he would have just cut forward at some point. He just kept running towards the sideline like he was trying to get to the edge, and it was
Yeah,
so.
your
It was so
quarterback
dumb.
6'3", 240, and you don't trust him to get 2 inches.
Yeah. Second of all, you have an injury to your top running back. You have an injury to your quarterback. Your backup is a freshman who's struggled. He's in Neyland. How in the hell do you not go for 2 to try to end that game?
Yeah, I was glad when we called a timeout, and then they come out and kick the extra point.
It made no sense, man. It's like you are literally, you're Florida. You're in Neyland. If you can get 3 yards, you win the game. 3 yards. And you decide it's better for you to go to overtime and let both teams have a short drive with what you have offensively now. That was a really dumb decision.
One thing I was wondering too, and I was actually thinking about this during the game. I thought once you break the huddle, right, all media and band has to stop playing. Is that not the rule anymore? Because all night during that Florida-Tennessee game, up until the snap, they be playing that Delta Dawn. And the whole game, they were.
What is the tradition on that? Like, I don't know,
but is that
steeped in Tennessee history?
Is that not the rule? Because I thought with the cowbells, once they break the huddle, you have to stop swinging your fucking cowbell. But all night, Tennessee was blaring shit out the speakers.
I think your band can play up until, like, they can't play during the actual play, but like up until the snap, or it's like so much time left on the play clock.
It's on the ref's whistle. The ref blows the whistle for them to go, and then they have to stop.
Well, then
I've been to Mississippi
was breaking the rules. Then
I've been to Mississippi State. They don't stop this. I mean, generally they do, but they don't really stop that.
Well, no, I've seen them flag Mississippi State for that before. I've seen them get a 15-yarder over that. That's why they cracked down on it so much, because they were going to, get rid of the cowbells, or everybody cracked down on it. So I forget when it was. It was a while ago. It was probably when back when they still had Dak Prescott. That's the only reason I'd be watching Mississippi.
They did come out with a rule for that, but and mostly when I was there in 2022 when Georgia played there, and most of the crowd does do it. They have it up on their screen. They're like, I don't remember if they say something like cowbells off or whatever. They have some signal up there, but
yeah, stop ringing your bells, you hillbillies.
And they have these, like, it's not like these cowbells are like, it's pride there to have a really expensive cowbell. They have like $200. I'm not kidding you, man. They have $200 and $300 cowbells. These like
holy shit.
Yeah. These aren't.
They gotta have Will. They gotta have Will Ferrell off of Saturday Night Live saying more cowbell.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it. No, it's it's fucking what's his name? The dude who was in Dune. I can't remember his name.
Oh,
the same guy who was in that skit. That's the guy who they have. It'll be like on a key third down. You'll just hear, I need more cowbell.
Mississippi State for a baseball game, and they ring the cowbells there, but I can't imagine the whole football thing.
Well, one of them is loud. Like if one of them has one of those $200 or $300 ones and they're shaking, that's loud as shit. You can imagine, 30 or 40,000 of them.
No, I don't want anything to do with that cowbell. That's noisy as fuck. I ain't gonna lie.
But the $300, Rob, it's an investment as a fan. You got to see it that way. An investment as a fan. You can either go to see 4 games that year, or you can buy a cowbell.
I'd rather get the clap. I'm not buying a $300 cowbell. That ain't happening.
You rather clap or get the clap?
Get the clap.
Wow.
So.
Well,
yeah, I'm not doing that at all. That's not happening.
Sure about that, but
do they bring it to the basketball arena too?
I haven't been there for a hoops game.
That would be crazy. In an enclosed environment, all those damn cowbells.
Yeah, that would suck. I haven't but thinking about watching games before, I don't think I've ever remember hearing anything like that at their games. So,
well, Mississippi State had a decent basketball team last year.
They're always, at least average in the SEC. They're not bad.
But this year, everybody's scared of one person.
Who's that? Who you talking about?
Quarter zip, baby. Quarter zip.
Have you seen the shit Calipari's been putting out on socials down there in Arkansas? It's like, man, how did you get internet, Calipari? They don't have that down here.
I hadn't even seen that. Is he going on?
It's pretty funny.
I think I just saw South Carolina basketball got a commit.
To who?
I'll pull it up. Just talk about what you were talking
I,
about.
I don't know. Like, I just think it's funny. He's running his mouth, and he's had like Nolan Richardson come speak to them and all that. And it's like, okay.
Oh my God, guys! Basketball has gotten cheesy. I just happened to flip past Kentucky Midnight Madness, and they had a player. I guess he transferred from. I think he was from. I don't remember his name. He transferred from San Diego State, and they're introducing him, and he's at the top of the steps, walking down to the arena, rapping as he's walking in about himself. Yes.
Well, their coach thinks that he's Eminem tall guy, like Pope. He thinks that he was like rapping Eminem shit to the fans when he got introduced or whatever. I'm like, you're a fucking clown.
You would think the way Kentucky treats basketball season that they have won the last 10 national championships and are going to win the next 10. Oh my God, dude!
When was their last?
I think I was mistaken about the comment, by the way.
You want to see a butthurt Kentucky fan? Just go and if Arkansas wins the conference this year, they may burn that fucking place to the ground. California has to leave to win the damn conference.
Is Kentucky the worst team in the SEC this year?
No.
Who's the worst team in the SEC this year?
Vanderbilt's going to be the shits. They're
Vanderbilt. It can't be Vanderbilt. They just put belt to ass to Kentucky, man.
Well, it can't be Georgia. Georgia's the most.
Oh, you're talking about
program.
Oh, you're
in the SEC.
Oh, we're talking basketball.
I thought you were talking
about football. I thought you were talking about football.
Oh,
no. Worse than basketball, probably. You like to lean Georgia just because they're usually pretty shitty, but I don't know much about them. So.
They're amazing.
Georgia's usually pretty shitty.
We had the number 1 overall draft pick and had a losing record.
I know, it's insane.
It's ridiculous.
What was it? Was it Anthony Edwards, right?
And who was that idiot coach we had? That was the former Indiana coach. He had him
Tom
outside
Crean.
shooting 3-pointers.
Yeah.
Tom Crean, yeah.
Oh, he was terrible. God, he was a terrible coach.
He was smart enough to get Anthony Edwards to come play for him, though. Holy shit.
Yeah, and he wasn't smart enough.
I'm pretty sure y'all were like that. That was the year South Carolina was actually decent at basketball. I think it was like one of Frank Martin's last years. And y'all were like the only SEC team to beat us for a while, and it killed our fucking our ranking.
What were you like 2-14, something like that?
It's something like that, and then you beat us at home. So it
Edwards had like that hell of a game there at the CLA. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
He was.
That might have been the year we walked off versus Kentucky too.
Yeah.
All right, boys, I'm gonna get off here. It's good talking to you.
All right. Well, it's good chatting with you guys too.
Yeah.
It's good having you here. Hey, Biscuit, look, we're gonna see. Someone's gonna get their butt hurt. At 10
there's always gonna be someone butt hurt at a cutoff, but it's not gonna be a 10-2 SEC team.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll see.
I don't think it will.
Jackpot says Mizzou will probably be the worst in the conference for getting Sprinot. They did not win a damn game last year. Jackpot is correct.
Correct.
Missouri and Georgia could play for the Golden Penis Award for the worst team in the conference.
Here's one thing I could see. This would actually be funny. A 10-2 Missouri could be left out by another 9-3 SEC team that has played teams. Like,
I wouldn't doubt it.
Wait, what's your logic on that? That's like a chaos theory there, buddy.
Because they hadn't played. If they lose their only 2 games worth of shit.
I mean, so let me give you an example. And I'm not trying to find a way for Georgia to get in this, but they just come to my mind because they play 5 roughly top 10 teams. Let's say Georgia goes 2-3 in those. Let's say they lose to Texas this weekend by field goal. Then they split with Ole Miss and Tennessee, and they finish 9-3. They have wins over either Tennessee or Ole Miss and Clemson. And then you look at Missouri, and Missouri's 10-2 with 2 losses to decent teams, but then nothing.
Right.
That's how. But I don't see that. I mean, honestly, I think any 10-2 team is going to get in. I don't think that would be.
Y'all aren't losing to Tennessee. Don't come at me with
I
that
think
nonsense.
out of the SEC, you're going to get Georgia.
Dude, I'm not taking.
You're getting Georgia, LSU, and I think Alabama won't.
I'm not taking any game for granted this year.
No,
the way
that's
they're
kind of
playing,
the best way to do it.
I'm not taking any game for granted.
I've been here. Is it a culture issue, Biscuit? I've been seeing that all over my feed. Culture issue at Georgia. Culture issue in Athens.
Yeah, well, the funny thing about that is I don't see why everyone else cares. That should be a concern for Georgia.
That's a good point, too.
You should worry. Teams should worry about what 22 they're putting on the field, not what whether Georgia has a speeding ticket.
Well, but to be fair, though, and we use Florida as an example. Florida had, when they won their national titles, they were trying to kill each other in the damn locker room.
They had a murderer on their team.
Yeah, they had a murderer on the team.
He hadn't killed yet.
So,
okay, so we have
But I'm just saying you can get by with
He
that.
killed when he
is what
was
I'm
a
saying.
proud patriot.
Right. We have speeding tickets, and then we have a receiver recently. I'm not talking about issues like that until the facts come out. I'm not excusing him of that behavior, and if he did that, he's going to get what he gets. But there's a lot of times women like this set these guys up for this. I mean, there's a storyline to this, and now he may have overreacted to it or whatever, but I'm waiting to hear what the facts are about that before I'm going to pass judgment on some guy with a woman accusing him of something. So.
Well, my thing with the speeding tickets is I don't understand how, because they're getting these cars through NIL dealerships with car dealerships. It's the same thing that South Carolina does. I don't understand how, just because of how big of a problem it's been, they don't have like one of those fucking work satellite things that cap the speed at like 100 on the cars or something like that. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna give you this Hellcat, but like I'm gonna be able to see how fast you're going, and I'm gonna deduct your pay if you go over, something along those lines. I mean, you're not gonna fix it by bringing somebody in to talk to them.
Yeah, I mean,
it's gotta affect their pocket.
That hasn't worked. It's time to step into something else. I agree with that completely.
I mean, they had somebody die in the program. Someone that was there died, and that wasn't enough to be like, maybe I should slow my stupid ass down.
Not even someone, was like 3 people, wasn't it? I thought like 3 people.
I mean, I'm look like I'm not making fun of people dying, but
a girl in the car died.
That happened. I mean, you've lost someone from the program. Yeah, we're not going to slow down. So,
but I think that'd be a good idea. One of those work satellites. I mean,
I think that they should take. I think that they should do the whole thing where you don't get a car until you're a senior, and you throw out some shit like that. You can't have a car on campus, and I don't know. At this point, everybody has to take fucking Ubers.
Scooter at the beginning of the
Clemson gives out those damn scooters. Did you see those motherfuckers ripping all around the place?
I don't have an answer to fixing that problem, but I mean,
Uber for everyone.
I love the moral authorities that come around, and
I mean, and it's not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not coming on here and being like, Georgia's not going to win a game because they got motherfuckers speeding. It's just a weird problem to have. You know what I mean?
Now they're all over Kirby for shoving that quarterback on the sidelines, and what he did.
I saw that. That was a bit harsh. It was a bit physical of a shove. What
supposedly happened was he was angry at the officials. He was trying to get over. He thought it was his defensive coordinator. He shoved him and then looked up and saw it was a Mississippi State player.
Well, yeah, and if the player didn't
apologize,
but people are like, he needs to be suspended the rest of the year and all this stuff.
No,
what he needs to do is apologize to Miss State.
Make him take an anger management class and some community service.
Can you imagine Kirby Smart taking an anger management class? That would be some funny shit right there.
I'm telling you, he'd probably smash a damn clipboard over the group leader.
That's the way it should go.
Is Kirby Smart the angriest coach in college football right now?
No.
Angriest?
No.
Who do you think holds that title if not Kirby?
I don't know. Stoops looks like he's pissed all the time up there at Kentucky.
Oh, I saw in the comments BBR was saying apparently students were you might can scroll up and still see it. He was saying students went out and were protesting outside of the AD's office for to get the baked potato fired. But who the fuck would want to step in and take that job that's going to be of a higher ilk than Stoops? Let's be honest.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to happen.
I mean, does Kentucky remember what they were before?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Who's going to step in and do a better job?
None of them know about the Joker Phillips days when they were a complete shithole.
They were worse than Vanderbilt. You looked at Kentucky, you didn't even think about it. Dub. Yeah, I mean, at least you don't say that now. Stoops has done a lot for them.
If you look at the history of, I'm going to be a dork here, but if you look at the history of the SEC, you can kind of think of Kentucky and Vanderbilt as like Neptune and Pluto, and how they kind of trade
Sorry,
no, that's all right. They trade places kind of sometimes. Kentucky was the worst for a while. Yeah, they were flirting with
in the 2010s, 2008, 2007, right around there. They were terrible. Terrible. Hey, but you see Jackpot giving some Cincinnati praise, Rob. I told you.
Yeah, but Cincinnati's old as fuck, though. Isn't he like 70?
Look him up. All he does is win, Rob. Look him up.
That's great, but you can win all you want, but they're not going to hire somebody that's 70 fucking years old, man. That's not going to work. Of course you would.
I would.
Of course you
All
would.
he does is win, man. All he does is
Yeah.
win. Age is a number, all right? Bill Belichick won a Super Bowl well into his 60s.
Okay.
Age
I
is
just don't
a
think
number.
I don't think that the board and all that will be like, hey, let's go. Now, well, I think that getting him would be an upgrade for South Carolina, but then again,
Well, I think we were talking about Kentucky. I think that's what Jackpot might have been talking about.
Jackpot, I know he's like 63. I'm goofing because I think he's just too old to hire at this juncture. That's just me. So
I like him. I think he's got years left in the tank. He doesn't wear the age like he like you look at him. He doesn't look that old.
Well, I mean, the Gamecock move would be to go get somebody like Urban Meyer, go get the next retread and bring him back in.
Or Coach O.
That'll be the next, yeah, Coach O, yeah.
I wouldn't mind Coach O in like an offensive analyst position, like an OC or something like that.
Coach O would end up naked in the fountain of 5 points. That shit would happen.
If he brings me offensive success, he can do whatever the fuck he wants, dude. I'm so sick and tired of our offense just looking absolute like it's like a car with no oil. You know, we got skill all over the field, but there's no fucking oil to get the damn engine running. So it's just
You sound like Coach O there.
Well, but am I wrong though? I mean, damn, I'm so sick and tired. And Rob, I didn't really get your opinion. And Biscuit, I'll hear it from you too. Did you know the Gamecocks have 12 fumbles from the quarterback position this year?
I didn't.
That's because your offensive coordinator is a shithead who wants to not hand the ball off to Rocket Sanders. Let's just have our quarterback.
Well, most of them are fucking.
Carries.
We've had like 3 or 4 botched handoffs. A couple from Ashford, a couple from Sellers. I think Sellers dropped a fucking snap versus ODU, like right off his chest, and probably like 5 strip sacks.
Wow.
I mean, damn.
Jackpot says Signetti is not older than Steve Spurrier was when he was at South Carolina, but I don't think that Signetti is Steve Spurrier, though. There's a difference there.
No, but Signetti is good. Hey, he's gonna get a job somewhere, whether you like it or not. And honestly, it might be you know what I'm thinking, Rob?
How about just stay in Indiana and fucking win there? Why not do that?
I think he's gonna go to Colorado because I think Deion's out. I don't think Deion's staying.
I don't think why would you go to Colorado? I'd rather stay in Indiana.
Well, Colorado, they're gonna pay someone after Deion. They're not gonna write off.
They haven't paid anybody. Come on, man.
They're gonna pay somebody after Deion. They're not gonna. They have national relevance, even though they're not a good football team. They have national relevance, and they're not gonna want to get rid of that. Every week, somebody's talking about Colorado.
Your program is more relevant than Colorado.
Yeah, in terms of playing football, not
in terms of football.
Relevance.
Yes, you are more relevant than Colorado with Shane Beamer as your head coach.
I agree, but
Colorado
not in
is
terms
a
of national
shithole.
coverage.
They
Not
are a
in terms of
shithole.
national coverage, Rob.
Okay.
There's a difference. I'm not talking about play on the field.
The last time Colorado was relevant, I was your age.
Yeah.
Well, they wasn't it in the 80s they won that national championship,
It was
right?
1991. They split. Didn't they split the national title with one? I can't remember.
Isn't that the same year that they had aren't they the team that got the 5th down against Missouri and scored?
Yeah.
So they had a loss and a tie.
And they still won the national title.
They won the national championship.
Goodness gracious. The BCS era was awful.
That wasn't the BCS era. That was pre.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think here. So they had the 1990 team. That was the team that they were the AP national champion. 1 loss, 1 tie.
And they had that gift.
Having excitement about a football team just brings too much money to the school for them to not go out and hire.
They lost Illinois by a point. They tied Tennessee and lost Illinois by a point. Man, I'm sure Tennessee fans. A game at Anaheim Stadium, the Pigskin Classic, ends up in a tie in front of 33,000 people, and that's their only loss on the or the tie on the year for them. And then the loss came 2 weeks later in Champaign to Illinois. I guess their best win, they beat number 3 Nebraska in Lincoln. They beat them by 15 there, and then they beat Notre Dame 10-9 in the Orange Bowl. Holy shit.
Here's how Georgia Tech won half of that year. They finished, Tech was like 11-0-1. They played Nebraska, who had just gotten shelled by Oklahoma by 40 points, something like that. They played the 19th ranked Nebraska team for the national championship, essentially, because that's the way I think in the Citrus Bowl. So Georgia Tech got to win the national title by playing the 19th ranked team.
Well, thank goodness we don't have that system anymore, because that's just fuckery. Nobody needs that in their lives. All right, gentlemen, what's been fun today? I appreciate you guys, and I'm going to hold you to it, Biscuit. If I'm wrong, we'll see, but I think there's going to be some 10-2 teams that are going to be hurt. So,
you think there's going to be 10-2 Power 5 teams out?
Yep.
All right. Well,
probably more than
we can
one.
Have a friendly bet on
that. Send me a message on Twitter. We'll figure it out.
All right.
All right, man. See you guys later on.
Quarters it out.